So, welcome to our Hatha Flow. Today it's the end of the week for us. So, we are celebrating the upcoming weekend and perhaps a break, whatever that means. I'm going to make my way to the mat. Have any props that you need nearby, blocks or books or toilet paper rolls to bring the floor closer to you, um, straps or bolsters or cushions. I just remembered this knee pad that Michelle got me too. So I'm going to bring my knee with me as well. And yeah, we'll start on our backs. So as always, we start to settle into our space, allowing the pelvis to settle. If it feels comfortable, you could let the knees fall in towards each other, holding each other up. Let the shoulders fall back towards the earth. And let the body adjust to this position. You may close your eyes or keep them soft. And start to spend some time with the breath. Just noticing the depth, noticing the rhythm without controlling or forcing anything. We'll let our breath really lead the way through our practice, not only to set the rhythm, but also as a messenger. If the breath catches, if we see that we're holding the breath, might be a sign to reset, to come out of the pose slightly and find somewhere that's pain-free, where you can flow. We set the intention to meet our bodies where they're at, both by being mindful of any pain, any dizziness, thirst, or lightheadedness, but also giving our bodies opportunities to grow and to go deeper as needed. All week we've been talking about really spending time with ourselves, getting to know our own inner voice, authenticity, and how that makes us feel closer and closer to belonging, to home. Today we continue this on our mat as we move through a more active practice. And we really, really get quiet. Stick with our breath to tune into this familiar environment within. Sometimes the yoga practice itself, because it's mindful, because it's quiet, also feels like coming home. How often do we feel after practice that the body has been reminded back to its original shape, mobility, flow. So today we let the body come home. Bring the knees in towards you. Take the knees in the hands and do some rocks side to side. Maybe some circles on the ceiling. First in one direction, massaging out that back. And then the other direction. And then we'll come back to center. Holding that right knee in, we're going to stretch the left leg out. Maybe it hovers above the mat, maybe it comes all the way down. And we just find a nice spot for that right leg where it feels like the femur bone settles. Like we can soften the muscles around the hip joint enough that the femur bone reintegrates into the body. We welcome it home here. You can shift a little bit, see what a different position feels like. And then bring that left leg to the ground, take the right knee in the right hand, and keeping that left leg pinned down with the left hand, we can open that knee out to the right. Just for a moment here, get the inner thigh, wake up, the adductors, and then come back to center. Take it in the left hand. Keep the waist long on the right side as you slowly draw it over to the right. You don't even have to come into a full twist. We're just trying to wake up that lateral hip, the outer hip, down that leg. And then back to center. Let's switch legs, bring in the left leg, stretch the right leg out, and just say good morning here. Find that position with the left leg that again feels like a big sigh in the body. Maybe you shift a little, see what it feels like when you would draw that knee closer or farther away, or a little to the left, a little to the right. And then grounding the right leg, grounding that right hip with the right hand. We take the left knee out to the left with the left hand and get that inner thigh. Wake it up. Feel everything start to wake up around those hips. Come back to center. Take the left knee in the right hand. Keep that left waist long as you just draw it gently over towards the right. Not necessarily all the way into a twist, just enough to bring some awareness, some blood flow, some stretch into the outer hip. And then come back to center. Bring both knees in again. This time, almost the same position, but we're going to bring in some core. So reach the left leg out. Maybe it hovers. That's a little bit more advanced. Maybe the knee bends and the foot comes to the earth. And then arms come up overhead. We draw the belly button in. We ground the sacrum onto the floor, so the back of the pelvis. We either stay here or on the next exhale, reach up and over, arms reaching towards the toes. Right knee stays bent, and we hold here. Keep drawing those ribs down. Keep shaking. Keep drawing that lower abdomen in and up. Beautiful. Now we'll pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Bring both knees in. Reach those arms overhead. And we'll go to the other side. So right leg stretches out or foot comes to the floor. Left knee stays in. We stay here, draw the abdomen down, activate that core, and perhaps we reach up and over, lifting our heart, and we stay here. Really focusing on keeping integrated, keeping everything drawing into the center. Beautiful. And maybe we pulse here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And reach up and over, bring the knees back in. Nice. So now we're going to keep the knees both bent and take the hands on the thighs. And we're going to be doing a little bit of resistance here. So again, activate that lower abdomen, really making it awake and drawing towards the floor. The ribs come down, hands on the thighs. And we're going to be pressing those thighs away, but keeping them exactly where they are. So it takes a lot of that core strength. Open up that area between the thighs and the abdomen. And let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, keep pressing, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Hug it in. Few rocks. Now we're going to do the same thing, but only one leg at a time. So the option for the other leg would be reaching out and hovering, or again, foot on the floor. So reach that left leg out, hands on the right thigh. We're pressing that right knee away for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back in. Feel that life coursing through the core. Reach that right leg out or bring the right foot to the floor. Press that left knee away for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Hug it in. Few rocks here. Bringing the arms out to a T or to cactus arms. Keeping the knees at whatever angle is most conducive to activating, to really connecting to your core, because we're going to do some windshield wipers without touching the floor. So every inhalation brings the knees out to the side. Your range of motion is your range of motion. Exhale back to center and inhale to the other side. Beautiful. We're going to do 5 more on each side. So you might start to go deeper as we progress. You might start to straighten those legs a little bit more for more challenge. We've got 3 more on each side. Use the breath. Just really tapping in to the core, right from the beginning. It's almost like reminding ourselves where center point is. One more on each side, so that throughout the practice, we keep coming back. All right, all done. Hug those knees in. We're gonna rock and roll or press ourselves up to seated and come over onto hands and knees. Hands come under the shoulders, knees come under the hips. 5 times, cat and cow, bringing some movement into the spine. Move slow, move with your breath. Do any movements that feel right here. As we exhale, we round the back. As we inhale, we open the front body. One more full round after this. Beautiful. And then come back to center. We're going to plant those hands down, curl the toes under, lift those knees off the floor about 2 inches. Look at the hands. Make sure every single finger, every single knuckle is pressed into the earth, especially the index finger and the thumb. So the L, that those 2 fingers, 4, really press that L into the earth. Feel that energy shoot up through the arms, relax the heart, find strength, draw that belly button up for 4, 3, you got this, 2, and 1, and let's come all the way back into a downward dog. Nice, so you can wiggle it out. Continue to press into that L, especially taking some of the pressure off the wrists. Make those hands work. So we can come back and do that hovering again, or for 4 counts, we come back into a rocket and come forward. Up to you. So last little core activator, come to toes and hands, knees bent 2 to 3 inches off the floor, and we either hold for 4 or we come back into rocket, pressing those hips back for 4. Inhale forward. For 3, rocking back and forth. For 2, and 1 more. Beautiful. And then come all the way back into a down dog. Do whatever you need to do here. Wiggle it out. And slowly start to walk to the front of the mat, coming to a forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Let the head and the neck go. And just release. Shake the head no, nod it yes. Maybe swing the arms a little bit. And then 1 vertebra at a time, we start to curl all the way up to standing. Getting ready for our standing postures. Waking up all the joints to their original mobility, their original strength, their original length. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. And then come all the way back up. 2 more like that. Reach and dive. And 1 more. Bending the knees as much as you need to every time you hinge forward. And then hands on shins or thighs, look up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, lengthen, exhale, fold. 2 more. And one more, pressing that heart forward and folding. Let's bring the fingertips to the earth and step that left leg back right away. Left knee comes to the earth. So we're gonna press ourselves up right away. So if you need anything underneath that back knee, you can put a pad or a folded blanket or towel or your mat. Then we're gonna press ourselves up onto that front thigh. Take a moment to adjust to this. Press down in all four corners of that front foot for balance and feel that activation come all the way up towards the hip. Everything nestles in. We're going to come to cactus arms and go for a flow here. As we inhale, we draw those legs towards each other, coming out of the pose, reaching the arms up. As we exhale, we draw those elbows down to the side, back to cactus, and we lunge forward. 3 more of those. Inhale and exhale. Keep the shoulders on the back. Keep that core active. And really tune in to the strength it takes to stay centered here. After that last one, stay in that low lunge, elbows out to the side, palms open, hands bright. Maybe you even tip that heart up to the sky slightly as you hold this low lunge. Beautiful. And then hands come to frame that front foot. And we're just going to flow back into a hamstring stretch. So half splits are the Hanuman. We straighten the front leg. The back hip comes right above that back knee. Take a moment to get long. If you need stuff under your hands here, that always helps. Get long through the body. Pull that right heel back towards you. And exhale, fold. Say good morning to the hamstrings. And really that entire length along the back line of your right side from heel all the way up through hip and lower back. And then come up something a little different. We're going to spin that foot down, take the left foot behind us, come up into gate pose. So now we're facing the side. We're going to walk that right hand down the right leg and reach the left arm up and over. So now waking up the side body. Come all the way back to center. Take that left hand down towards the ground. Come into modified side plank. Reach up with the right hand. So we've got that kickstand of our left knee underneath us, but we're still getting that length and lift through the side body. And then come all the way back up, spin back to the front of your mat, frame your front foot, step back, plank pose. Our first plank pose of the day, but not our first core activator. So maybe you're on knees and elbows, maybe on hands and feet, maybe anything in between, but we're still remembering in any of those positions to draw into home. Beautiful. One more breath here. And then drop to the knees. We're going to do 4 shoulder flows here, bringing the hips back towards the heels. Inhale, drag the nose along the mat, elbows out to the side, press up. Use that breath, use the movement to clear all the stagnation inside. Beautiful. After that last one, come all the way down to the abdomen. 4 times, we lift our heart off the ground, hands off the ground into baby cobra flow. On the inhale, we lift. On the exhale, we come back. Make sure the tops of the feet are on the floor too. Inhale, lift, and exhale down. Thighs are grounded, pelvis is grounded, abdomen is grounded. After that last one, we'll hold it up here in our baby cobra, no hands. Make sure the head and the neck are an extension of the spine. They don't need to be looking forward, just naturally positioned, gazing at the floor in front of you for 3, for 2, and 1. Place the hands down, come into down dog or whatever recovery pose you require right now. Maybe puppy, maybe child's. And then the left foot is going to step between the hands. And that right knee comes down to the earth, patting the earth as needed. We press ourselves up on that front thigh and then really ground through the left foot, all 4 corners. Find your balance. By finding this balance between drawing those legs together, scissoring them together for some muscle energy, but that grounding through letting go into the earth as well. Come into those cactus arms. And then 4 times again. We inhale, draw the legs towards each other, press the arms up, exhale, come down. Beautiful. 3, 2, and last one. Hold here. Maybe starting to tip that heart up to the sky. And let the muscles soften around that front hip joint, especially just like we were doing at the beginning of the class. Let that femur bone nestle into the hip socket. And then hands come to frame the front foot, and we straighten the left leg, shift the hips back over the right knee. Ardha Hanuman. Get long through the body as if there's a string at the heart center pulling you forward ever so gently, and then maybe melting. Beautiful. Now we spin that left foot down. We spin the right leg behind us as we open up to the side. Gate pose, left hand down the left leg, right arm up and over. A nice side stretch here. If you can believe it, the full gate pose, I would have my left hand down by my left foot and the right hand right on top of it there. We'll imagine that that's happening. Inhale, come all the way up. Right hand comes down to the earth. And then we reach that left arm up for a supported, modified side plank here. And all the way back up. We'll turn to the front, frame that front foot with the hands, pick up the back knee, and this time step forward into our forward fold. Bend the knees nice and deep. Our first chair pose, Utkatasana. Lots of weight in the heels, hands will come to the heart. We're going to get the blood flowing here a little bit. So using the breath, we're going to do some little bounces. We can also add the arms. On the exhale, the arms come back like wings. On the inhale, they fly forward and we bounce. So we could make the breath really prominent. We can make it sharp and just start to quicken it for 8, 7, 6. Try to get a little deeper. 4, 3, 2, 1, and come all the way up. Reach tall. Stay here for 2 rounds of breath. Up in this beautiful exalted pose. And then exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Look up halfway, lengthen Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, step that right leg back behind you. Come to a lunge. In this lunge, you may bring that back knee down, or maybe this time it stays up. We're going to press ourselves up on that left thigh again. And then perhaps bring the hands to the hips, or the hands to the heart, or the arms all the way up. Now we're going to work that back leg a little bit. We are working it for strength, but we're also trying to get some mobility through that hip flexor and start to gently lengthen it. So what we're going to do is bend that back knee to almost the earth. And then on the inhale, press it. And then bend. And press it. The front leg stays fairly stable. We're really just working into that hip flexor, making it a little bit longer each time. 2 more. I know, 1 more. Beautiful. Hold here for 1 final breath. And then right hand comes to the earth, walks to the right, left hand at the back of the pelvis. Back leg stays just as strong and straight as we twist to the left. Maybe the left arm comes up to the side. And then come back to center and plank pose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees, 4 times shoulder flow. Exhale back, inhale, sweep that heart forward and back, curl. And then open the heart, wake up the shoulders. 2 more. Last one. And then we come all the way down to the abdomen again. Hands under the shoulders or by the ribs. Tuck those wings in, roll the shoulders back. And this time we come up into 4 baby cobras, but with the hands on the floor. On the inhale, we come up, putting a little bit of pressure into those fingertips and knuckles. And exhale down. Keep breathing. Remember, let that breath be your message. Last one, hold it up there. Ever so slight amount of pressure in the hands. Imagining still a string at the heart center, drawing you forward and up. And then come down, downward facing dog, or any other recovery pose that suits you right now. Right foot steps between the hands. For our lunge, we press ourselves up on that right leg. Hands here, hands at the hips, hands at the heart, or hands all the way up to the sky. And we work into that left leg this time, bending to almost the earth, and then keeping that depth and pressing it back. Bend and press. For 4, for 3, for 2, and last one. Hold it here for 1 deep, full, long round of breath. And then left hand comes to the earth. We bring that right hand to the back of the pelvis, spin to the right. Keep that back leg strong. Maybe right arm reaches up. And then back to center. Step to the front of the mat and fold. Beautiful. Bend the knees nice and deep. Come up into your chair pose, Utkatasana, hands at the heart. Maybe hands out front, coming deeper. Maybe they even start to raise in line with the upper body. And breathe here. Remind yourself of the strength inside. Come home to all these things you know. And inhale all the way up. Beautiful. Exhale, fold. Look up halfway, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana, fingertips on the earth, left leg steps back. We spin that left heel down and come up into warrior 2. So fix your stance, make sure it's wide enough so that that front knee can bend to right above the front ankle. The back leg presses back strongly. Arms come out like wings. You can gaze to those right fingertips and feel strong here. Now that we've got that foundation set, we're just going to work on a little bit of movement through the upper body. So reaching forward on the inhale with that right hand, reaching back on the exhale with the left. If you want to add shoulders, you can externally rotate the right arm, internally the left, and then switch on the way back. So get the waist involved, get the ribs involved. Keep those legs exactly as they are. For 2 more in each direction. Beautiful, last one. And then this time, reach, reach, reach forward. Maybe that right elbow comes to the thigh. Maybe the hand comes to the earth. Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. That top arm might come straight up or over the ear. As we spin, I know, for 3, for 2, for 1, and let those hands come down, spin on those back toes, back to plank, and this time straight down to the earth. So this time you can stick with that baby Bhujangasana, baby cobra, or perhaps we recruit more of the arms as we press into those hands and come into Bhujangasana. Whatever that means to you, full cobra, heart open, collarbones wide, shoulders on the back, neck long and mobile. For 3, 2, 1. Come all the way down, downward facing dog. Nice. Left foot steps forward. We spin the right heel down and come up into our warrior 2 on this side. We adjust the stance so that we're at about heel to heel or heel to arch, whatever's right for your pelvis. And then open those arms up like wings. Gaze towards the left fingertips. We start to bring a little bit of movement in there now that the legs are reminded of this position. So as we inhale, we reach forward. As we exhale, we reach back. Maybe we involve the shoulders by internally and externally rotating. Nice. For 3 more in each direction. Getting that waist, the ribs moving, the shoulders. And last one. Reach, reach, reach forward. Get that torso long on both sides. And then left elbow on the left thigh, left hand towards the earth or a prop. Lengthen the body. Let those hips lower. Maybe right arm comes up, maybe over the ear. Beautiful. Let those hands come down, frame the front foot, come onto those back toes, and step forward. Fold. Third set of Utkatasana chair pose. You find your position. Hands wherever they're being called, as long as the collarbones can stay wide, the neck stays long and mobile, the face stays soft and happy. The backs of the shoulders are hugging the back of the heart. And lots of weight in the heels. Nice. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, fold. Beautiful. Look up, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fingertips down. Right leg steps back. Right heel spins down again. And we come up into that warrior 2 pose. Beautiful. This time come into Parsvakonasana, side angle again. Elbow on thigh or hand towards the earth. Beautiful. That top arm may even come back behind you this time, pressing against the back of the pelvis, opening that chest up even more. If a bind is in your practice, you could always play with that, taking the bottom arm up underneath the left thigh. And now release that. Come all the way back up, but straighten both legs. And we'll come into triangle or Trikonasana.
reaching forward with that left arm, keeping that length on both sides of the body. Take that left arm down. It might reach the thigh, maybe the shin, maybe further. And then right arm up. And then release the hands down. Step back to your plank. And make your way to the earth. Come into your cobra pose. And then your recovery pose. Same thing on the right side. Right foot steps forward. Left heel spins down. We come up into our warrior two. Second time, the muscles, the bones, the joints, everything remembers the alignment a little better. Coming into side angle, Parsvakonasana. Arm reaches up or over the ear to begin with. Once we've got that general position, that left hand can come behind you as you twist that part to the sky. Maybe even coming for the bind if that's in your practice. And then releasing that, looking down, straightening both legs as you come up, maybe having to readjust the stance. I sometimes have to narrow my legs for Trikonasana, keeping the legs straight, arms out to the side. Reach, reach, reach with that right arm, keeping both sides of the torso long. Hand comes down, left arm. Beautiful. And then we release the hands down, step to the front of the mat. We're going to do a little forward fold interlude here. You have three choices here. You can bend the knees and hug those thighs in, letting go of the head and neck, and slowly starting to press into the heels and straighten those legs while keeping the contact between the abdomen and the thighs. Or you could take the peace fingers around your big toes and get nice and long through the upper body. Start to draw those elbows up to the side, the top of the head down to as you start to straighten those legs. Or maybe even slide the entire hand under the soles of the feet, toes towards the wrist creases. And again, elbows this time bend more backwards towards the back line of the body as you come to fold deep. And slowly release that. Bend the knees, come all the way up to standing. Tadasana, mountain pose. Feel the changes in your body. Beautiful. So we're going to come to balancing. Set the feet about hip distance or a little bit narrower, as when we stand on one foot, our center of gravity will shift a little bit. And we're going to bend the knees slightly, plant down through that right foot strongly, and then press into it As you straighten that leg, left leg's going to float up off the earth. And you can keep it bent, or you can wrap the hands around that knee and draw it in, just like we're doing on our backs. And hold here. Some quiet time. Often we become our own worst enemies, especially in balancing poses. And then slowly release that. And shift the focus to the left leg. Bend the knees slightly. Press into that left foot as that leg comes to straight. Drawing that left hip in and that right knee up. It could stay here, hands on the hips, or we might hug that right in. Trying to keep the hips at the same level. As soon as one starts to hike up or back or forward, that's where we start getting thrown off. Beautiful. And then release that one and shake it out. So we're going to be coming into eagle pose. Whenever I think of eagle pose, it's this hugging in towards ourselves and keeping that even when at the end we're going to fly away in our eagle and expand out from the center, but continue to hone in on that center point. So again, bend both knees. We're going to come up on those left toes. Keep the right knee bent. Find your balance here. And then cross that left leg over the right. This might be where you stay. Maybe the toes can wrap around the right calf. Maybe you can incorporate the arms, reach them out, cross the right over the left, either hug yourself here or come into eagle arms by crossing at the forearms, wrists, or hands. Hug into that midline. Maybe even get deeper into it by bending the knee even more, curling into your body, your nest. And whenever you're ready on the inhale, we're going to open up and fly away and expand. And gracefully come back to center. Tadasana. Come back to breath. Reset. Forget anything that happened on that side. As we move to the second side, bend through the knees. Pick up that right heel. Find your center of balance first. Find all four corners of that left foot on the floor. Pick up that right leg. Cross it over. This may be where you stay. Maybe that right foot can loop behind the left calf. Bend that left knee. Arms reach out to the side. Left over right. Eagle arms or hugging yourself. Maybe you can get deeper. Hinging at the hips, at the knees. Drawing closer in towards you. And whenever you're ready, next inhalation, we reach, we expand, and release. Beautiful. Take a moment in Tadasana and just be. Coming back to the front of the mat. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching up. Exhale, folding in. Look up, halfway lengthen. Hands to the earth and step back to a child's pose. Knees apart, toes together, hips towards the heels, head grounded on something. After bending, twisting, stretching, strengthening in all directions, in all planes, hugging in, reaching out, we're reminded physically what our bodies are designed to do. Maybe that reminds you as well of all the bending, stretching, twisting, strengthening that we do on all levels when life blows us around emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and how resilient we are, how we can keep coming back to our center. We are designed to do this. Slowly press yourself up and come to seated, bringing the legs out in front of you. This may be where a belt or strap or tea towel could come in handy, but you can also just do a forward fold here, Paschimottanasana, legs out in front. Hands can come to the side. We can pull the flesh away from the sit bones. This may be somewhere even to stay if you're having trouble staying upright. Trying to encourage softness through those hip flexors, really holding onto that core and grounding through the legs. Maybe you take your hands or your belt and you start to draw your heart forward. Once you get to the point where you feel that beautiful, productive tension growing in the fascia of the backside of the entire body, feels all the way up through the back. You can let the head and neck go. And breathe here. And slowly come on out of that. We're going to bend the knees, soles of the feet on the floor, hands behind you. You could do fingertips towards your buttocks, but if the shoulders are tight, turn those hands out a little bit and bring them as wide as needed, coming into a reverse plank or a reverse tabletop, pressing those hips up just as a good counter stretch to that forward fold. And then drop back down. Walk those feet towards each other, knees out to the sides, Baddha Konasana. Take a hold of the ankles, let the knees fall to the sides. You either stay upright here, or you start to fold forward, releasing the head and the neck. Imagine trying to lay your heart between that open book of your feet. And then coming all the way back up, drawing those knees together. We're going to stretch those legs out in front again and coming into fish pose or Matsyasana. So we wedge the thumbs kind of underneath the buttocks and come down on one elbow and then the other. Draw those elbows as far in underneath you as possible. And then we start to lift up through the heart center, drawing the shoulder blades on the back, lifting the heart from behind. With the head and neck, you can keep it neutral, or you start to press into those hands as you curve up and over, aiming to come to the top of the head. Feel grounded from the hips down and feel that lift from the heart. Tuck the chin in on the inhale and let yourself come all the way down onto your back. If that low back is a little bit rough, you can bend the knees, bring the feet hip width or wider and let the knees fall in towards each other. And just let the body readjust. Be patient. Listen. If there's anything else that needs to move through your body, so maybe some windshield wipers, maybe a twist or a bridge, maybe another hug, go for it. Otherwise, you can slowly make your way into a final resting pose, a Shavasana. Remember that that is very individual as well. It could be traditional with the hands open to the sky at the sides, legs comfortably splayed. Or if there's any other position that you would prefer, on the side, legs up the wall, legs hanging over a couch, on the front, in seated meditation. When you've arrived there, soften the eyes again. You notice the familiar post-yoga practice feelings, sensations running through the body, the awakening of places that had fallen asleep, the life buzzing in every nook and cranny. The flow that brings lightness of being. The warmth. The more time we spend moving authentically, being authentic, getting to know deeply our inner selves. The more it seems accessible to feel that sense of home, of comfort, not only in our bodies, of knowing, but also in the world. This is a tool, this is a vehicle that we have with us at all times. We thank our sweet bodies, our sweet minds, our sweet souls for all the wisdom, for all the resiliency, for even all the coping mechanisms and holding patterns it has to protect us, or they have to protect us. And we make this commitment to just spend some time with all the layers. I see you. I thank you. I love you. And I thank you all for joining me and sharing your practice. Stay here for as long as you need to. Make sure you acknowledge all your strength, your power, your flexibility, your resiliency before you go on with your days. I see you, I thank you, and I love you.